So in this week's parsha we have the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people. We've had mitzvahs in previous parshas given to individuals like Avram Avinu and so on, but as far as the Jewish people are concerned, this week's parsha, the first mitzvah, which is Kiddush HaChodesh, the mitzvah on the court to sanctify the new moon. In other words, that you would have witnesses come to the court, the Sanhedrin, or representatives of the Sanhedrin, and they would testify that they saw the very, very beginning of the new moon of the month, and Bezdin would convene, and based on the testimony or based on calculations, they would sanctify the new month. That's the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people. And we know that beginnings are always significant. And the question is, what exactly is the message being told to us by this being chosen as the first mitzvah? So there's a teaching from Rav Kook that he wrote that there's two types of tshuva. There's two types of experiences that can motivate a person to begin the path of becoming better. There's what he calls tshuva pisaimis, sudden tshuva. What's sudden tshuva? Sudden tshuva is where a person, maybe sometimes, God forbid, the person hits rock bottom, or something happens to jolt them out of their complacency, and they decide then and there to completely overhaul their lives. And in one moment, they go from darkness to light. For one moment, exile to redemption, everything is completely changed over, sudden tshuva. And then there's another type of tshuva that he calls tshuva dargosis, gradual tshuva. The person is not making an overhaul of their whole lives. They're pretty much staying the same who they were. Small improvements, incremental, step-by-step, small improvements. Now, certainly, when if we were to sort of be able to choose which type of tshuva we would like to do, certainly the first one, the sudden tshuva, is more exciting, right? It's definitely more exciting, that the inspiration, the energy, the spiritual awakening that comes with that sudden change is certainly much more awe-inspiring. The methodical, step-by-step, that's a little bit boring and less exciting. You don't really feel like you're becoming a better person. You're pretty much staying the same. You're trying to say Modani every morning. You know what I mean? Pretty much staying the same. You're working on trying to make sure that you bench properly after meals. Not so exciting. The first mitzvah, however, that the Torah gives the Jewish people is reminding us about how special it is when a person is willing to let go of waiting for that flash inspiration and willing to settle for subtle step-by-step tshuva. How so? Kiddush HaChodesh, the sanctification of the new moon, is what? Is that even when that first sliver of moon appears, it barely gives off any light. The night is still dark. It's still almost as dark as before. And so we would think, that if we're going to sanctify anything, first of all, the moon in general doesn't really banish the night. So really we should sanctify the daytime. But if we're going to sanctify the moon, let it be the full moon. But no. The mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh reminds us and strengthens the Jewish people is that even if all you have is a slight sliver of light, which isn't strong enough to completely banish the darkness, you're still in darkness. But when you experience that little sliver of light, Mekudesh, holy, holy, that's sanctified. And that's why the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh was given to the Jewish people while still in Egypt. In other words, it's still in Golus. Just like that person, that their overall lifestyle is still pretty much the same. But all they've experienced is that little sliver of light, some little gradual step up. And instead of downplaying that, instead of saying, what's it worth? What's the difference if I improve this little point? Let me just sit back and wait for that flash of lightning, for that moment of clarity where I'll overhaul my entire life. The sanctification of the new moon says, don't wait for that. If you feel within you any strength to hold on to one little improvement, even if it's not enough that it banishes the darkness completely, it's one little first appearance of the moon, it's good enough. Not only is it good enough, it's holy. It's exceptionally holy. It's the first mitzvah. And that's the encouragement we have to get from this week's parsha, that any small improvement we can make is of infinite significance in the eyes of the Creator. So Hashem should help that we should come into Shabbos with Menuchas Hanevesh and Menuchas Haguf, and both individually and collectively see the redemption of our people. V'yas Kol Tzedek Meher V'meinu Amen.
Thank you, Hashem.